The Stock of the Day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. With over 17,000 markets and extended trading hours, turn US earnings season volatility into opportunity. Get started at IG.com.
So down extremely one day, up the next. It doesn't matter. I'm continuing on with our series, which all this week we've been asking our expert guests what stock they would buy in a market meltdown. So we've already seen the market meltdown. We've seen this big snapback today. So perhaps we've missed an opportunity, but let's put the question out there. Michael, what would you buy if we saw another leg down? What perhaps have you been buying?
Yeah, so we were buying a range of stocks on Tuesday. One of those was Macquarie. I think that, we can name a number of stocks, but what we're looking for is something that's obviously fallen quite a bit, but would also be quite leveraged to any bounce in the market and should get through what's happened quite unscathed. So this is a weekly chart of Macquarie. We could see that it's fallen from about 240 down to a really good support level around 160. With what's happened in the past week, it's looking at support levels until they occur, it's almost meaningless because it could blow through those levels. But what you do as, I guess, a trader is you look for price action, even almost intraday. And what happened on Monday was Macquarie opened at around 160 and then just rallied all day. I think it was down about 10%, and by the end of the day it was only down about 1%. Good volume. So you could see that support come in real time. So look, I think it could bounce back up towards about 210 before stalling again. But yeah, look, as I said, in these sorts of moves, I think a stock like Macquarie, which is pretty blue chip, it's pretty liquid, so you know that if the market's going to bounce, the big funds are going to be buying those sort of top 20 stocks to get that index exposure. And it's leveraged to upside. So for example, you wouldn't be buying something like a Woolworths, which is up about 1% today. I mean, that's pretty disappointing. I mean, we had a new client come on board, and that was one of the things we did earlier in the week was we had some Woolworths. I said, get rid of that, because when the market bounces, that's not going to do anything for you. You need to be buying Macquarie here at around 170, and that's where you're going to get that upside. So look, there's a range of stocks that will bounce hard with the market. But I think an easy go-to stock for our viewers is pick up Macquarie, and it's still looking good here.
Yeah, I was going to say it's up by close to 7% today, but it's at 182.55.
Yeah, and that's still a good level because it was actually up quite a bit this morning, and like most of the market, we've seen a bit of sort of short-term profit taking. So I think on that sort of weakness, 182, that's a good level for it.
Got it. So Macquarie from Michael Gable, and I believe you agree.
Yes. So we were picking some up, I believe it was the Monday as well. So Mark was actually the first cab off the rank. I remember him calling us on Monday saying, listen, he did the stats. He said basically most pullbacks are like 20, 25%, and we're already at 18. So it's like chances are that we're going to, find some support here. So he just basically said, look, let's just not shoot all of our ammo straight away. Yeah, let's take a nibble here and dollar cost average in. So we bought some of the index, and Macquarie was actually one of our recommendations. Well, like that's the same thing. I think what we're going to be seeing from Michael and myself is that we're going to be showing weekly charts a lot, because what's happened is if you have the daily charts, there's just been a lot of damage just in the last week. So Macquarie has been falling back. It's actually been leading the finance sector on the way down. It's actually been the weakest. Like all the big four banks, especially Commonwealth Bank, has held up quite well in relative terms. And Macquarie got all the way down to 160, and obviously that was a nice level there. I think it's, as you said, it bounced up to about 185. So, just generally, Macquarie is a nice big blue chip. So in the finance sector, you want Commonwealth Bank and Macquarie. They're the two best. And we just chose Macquarie at this stage. So Macquarie is a buy for me. If the markets still recover, I still think that sort of high that we saw maybe about 6 weeks ago, I still think that's going to, it'll take a while to get to those levels in a lot of stocks. But yeah, I think there's a good bounce here, and Macquarie's our first candidate.
Great, thank you. So that's actually 3 votes for Macquarie if you remember back to Monday. Macquarie was the pick from Adam Dawes at Shaw Partners as well. So that's our stock of the day.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.